what did we do originally? Illusory truth effect versus conspiracy theories. So, Lisa and I wanted to go into this fun stuff here. Mandela Effect examples. So y'all can understand that a lot of people think that these are in the conspiracy theory family when they're just Mandela effects, and I've explained away half of what I think is going on here, so it's pretty funny. So, is there anything particular, Lisa, that gets on your nerves about Mandela effects that you just like has stuck out to you?
Well, not that it gets on my nerves, but there's a story that you told me about the other day about the fruit of the loom, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
And how it, like, they were messing with people.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us that story? And so then it just makes me wonder, like, are we being messed with these other things?
I would think so, with a lot of other things that are happening. So, what Lisa and I were talking about, if you didn't watch the other video, we were discussing how fruit of the loom with the cornucopia in this image is like the first image. That was how they've always been since the dawn of time. And now we have fruit of the loom with no cornucopia. And everybody was flipping out about it. I don't even remember who the first person was to see it, but they had said something about it after they had purchased underwear, and they were just like, "Yo, it's that thingy. That thing is missing," and that's all they kept saying. So everybody was kind of like, "What?" And then it wasn't until they realized, "Oh, the cornucopia," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's missing." So everybody went out and started looking and videoing it, and it was just like a oh my god moment. When this one girl who, I forgot what she does for a living, but it made her look into it, because she might even be something to do with a historian or whatever. You can look the video up on YouTube. She goes like like she's like full on. She starts going through newspapers at the local library. Like, she just starts looking into everything, the history of it and such and so forth, and nobody can find an answer to it. Like, nobody can find an answer to it. So they were just like, So she goes and she's doing her thing, and then finally she starts finding evidence that there was a cornucopia. So she went through her whole thing, and she then receives an email letter telling her that Fruit of the Loom themselves thought it would be funny to mess with people and to just see how many people would notice that the cornucopia was missing. So that in itself was just like a moment of pause, because you're like, oh, so if that's the case, is this what they've been doing this entire time to everybody? So it makes you wonder. So I wanted to bring up some images of things that I thought were very reminiscent of, like, a lot of us knew we were physically involved in certain things. So I, as a big Monopoly fan, I pulled up an image where it's four different Mandela effects. It's Pikachu, Oscar Mayer, Kit Kat, and Uncle Moneybags. Now, I guess we'll start at the top. I have been a big fan, always and forever, have been a big fan of Pokemon. And I even have a painting that was made for me. The funny part is in the painting, Pikachu is just yellow-tailed. He doesn't have the black part at the top. So, just the tips of his ears are black. And that's going to bother me, because I'm pretty sure I don't know. Never mind. I'm not going to feed into it. But Tooney and I were having a discussion, and she, back in the day, had a keychain with Pikachu. And on the end of it, it was black. And we would have this discussion all the time. And she's like, no, Pikachu's always had black at the tip of his tail, because that's how my keychain piece was made. So that in itself is like, okay, we remember these things. I felt like maybe, just maybe, he was drawn a certain way originally. Because remember, he's Japanese. He's not American. So I started wondering to myself, I was like, I wonder if in Japanese art all over Japan, he did have a black tip on his tail, but when it came here to America, they did away with it.
Oh.
That's what I started thinking. I'm like, maybe. Okay, so now we're going on to... That's something to think about, though, right?
You know what? Shane's first costume when he was a baby, he was Pikachu, and I still have his costume, so I should go downstairs and look at it later.
Yes, please. Yes, report back.
Okay.
Next on the list is Oscar Mayer. And,
Maloney has a first name.
Right. Maloney has a second name. It's Meyer.
Yeer, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's now with an Mayer.
Oh.
I don't remember it being Mayer. No.
No, I don't either.
No. But here's my take on this one. I would, and for anybody saying I'm ruining your, like, Mandela effects, just take it at a grain of salt with this. These are just theories that I come up with that are a little bit more sound than just us all sounding crazy. I think, because there is a company, I wish I could remember off the top of my head, there's a company that, very big company, and I think it had something to do with, like, vaccines. But basically what it is the scientist who came up with the vaccine, the name was just so not pronounceable that when they finally were, like, fully set in, they got their green card, their the whole nine. When they got their social security card, the name was spelled different. It wasn't spelled anything like it would have been, because it was basically a whole, how can you explain it? You know when you would hear about people from Ellis Island would come off the boat and they change their name? Yeah, that's essentially what it was.
Okay.
Like, so it made me wonder, Oscar Mayer versus Oscar Mayer. See what I'm saying?
Oh.
What if it was originally spelled Mayer, but in name change and all that other stuff, I guess we would have to look up, it became Meyer.
Yeah, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
That's an interesting theory.
Right, that's how I feel about a lot of that stuff, because my family history, when you look in Ellis Island and look when they first came over, the relatives that came from Ireland to Jamaica and then Jamaica to America, their name was originally British spelling, Alan and Alen. There weren't two L's.
Oh.
Right? So that'll make you think about things like that, like, okay. Kit Kat I can't explain.
Okay, so the shift from Oscar Mayer to Oscar Mayer happened in 1919 when the company's corporate name was officially changed to Oscar Mayer. And that was before the business was founded in 1983 by a German immigrant, Oscar Mayer.
See?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Some of these are so simple. I know licensing. Licensing is a bitch for a lot of people to get certain names put on certain things because there are similar name companies.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Whew. Okay. All right. So one down. Okay. So for everybody having a fit, that is exactly my point. M-E versus M-A. Sometimes it's the spelling of a name when people come over here on the boat. They chose to just spell it however they wanted because that wasn't very American. So, alright. So, unfortunately, here's Kit Kat versus Kit Kat with the dash in it. Okay. This one is a toss-up for me because Okay, thank you. Because the Kit Kat. Okay, so Bestie, I wish he was still over going to Japan all the time. So Frank, we worked together forever, and the whole thing was he always used to go to Japan for work and bring stuff back for me. And one of the things was the Kit Kat bar. Now, Kit Kat in Japan, there is a dash in there and everything, but it's not, it looks nothing like our Kit Kat. Let me see about pulling it up. Nothing at all like our Kit Kat. So it's actually really fascinating to see. Let me see if I can even find it. Oh, Kit Kat Japan, because the green tea, yeah, that's the bomb diggy. So, I just want to, give me an image for God's sakes. No, that's, there we go. So, their Kit Kats, first of all, anybody, so there's all of these Kit Kats here, and these are all Japanese.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Okay.
So they have flavors that we will never have. But they don't have a dash in there. Sometimes their Kit Kats come with dashes, and sometimes they don't. So my thought process on the fact that some come with dashes and some don't, I always used to wonder, I'm like, wait a minute now. Could it be the difference between certain ingredients added versus certain ingredients not being there? When I will go to one company and try to buy something, if I'm looking for gluten-free, their gluten-free product will be pastel colored versus their regular items are just normal regular colors. So instead of like it being this shade of green, it would be a pastel green to let me know it's gluten-free.
Oh, okay.
Right, so I was like, I wonder if it's a difference in ingredients, like lactose intolerant versus regular.
Oh, that's interesting.
You know, vegan versus regular. So these are the things I was thinking in my head, like, what if that's that? Because in Japan, most of their ingredients are real, like, ingredients. It's not like artificial ingredients like how we would have.
Yeah.
So that was that. So I was like, this is a thought and a half. So I just wanted to run that by. So I hope this gets everybody like thinking, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hopefully this gets everybody like, okay, so the last one on this list is the one I still can't really process, was Uncle Moneybags from Monopoly.
Yeah, I can't either.
Yeah, so I was raised on the fact that he had a monocle. That's all I can go with. He had a monocle when I was a kid. Everything that you saw, he had a monocle in. I mean, Halloween costumes, he had a monocle. So it really kind of like, I don't know. That's a very, very, very confusing one to me.
It sure is.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. Heading down, we have Looney Tunes, Toons versus Tunes. And I for sure knew that it was Looney Tunes with two O's because they were cartoons. That's it. They were cartoons.
Okay.
There had nothing. Tunes is to tell you about music. Like, that's a tune you're listening to. So, no way in hell. No way. I was like, no, maybe the loss of rights when Warner Brothers started to like close down and lose their rights. The only thing I could think of is that was possibly in the clause. The one thing in the clause they might have had was just, you're not allowed to use tunes, the original spelling for it. That was something that like had hit in my brain, like, oh, I wonder if,
makes sense.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that. I was like,
I honestly don't even remember what I remember it to be.
I remember the Toons because I remember Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Right? Yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. They go to Toontown. There you go. because in the video game they're going to Toontown. And that's a whole other sequence there. You're going to Toontown, and when you get to there, on your map, it's TOONS. Like most of the stuff they have. Yeah, most of the stuff they have is TOONS. So it makes you think like, let's see, what else do we have? We have Fruit Loops. Fruit Loops is another one.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I don't remember.
I remember the loops being colorful O's. Yes. But
what are they now?
it's spelled with fruit, like Fruit. So instead of the fruit.
Oh.
Yeah, instead of the double O's. Yeah, so that one is still up in the air for me. The other one is the change of the Volkswagen. The V and the W connecting. Yeah, to that dash in the middle. I know the newer Volkswagen started to change, but I also, how can I say this without bringing it up? There was a certain, what is that, 1930s people in Germany. You know where I'm going with that? In the 1930s? With Volkswagen. And supposedly when the symbol spun, it made a certain symbol.
Oh, really?
Yes. Somebody was talking about this on some radio show thingy, and I was like, what? I don't know how true it is. I never looked it up. But when people started to say how the Volkswagen sign was changing and how it doesn't look like that anymore, if you look at it, though, it does kind of look like that sitting still. Ooh. Like a warped version of it. Okay. Hear me out. This will sound crazy but hear me out. What if they split it and changed it so it wouldn't make that symbol anymore? You see what I'm saying? Because if that's what people were saying, like I said, I've never looked it up to see when it's rotating if it really did symbolize that. I don't know. But that's German auto, so I don't know. Yeah. But I mean, they started using that newer symbol on all of the newer models. So to me, it was like, oh, okay. It was like when Hyundai reinvented their H. It really, now it looks nothing close to, because I know some people are like, oh, look, it's Honda. No, you dingus, that's a Hyundai. You know, that kind of thing. Like, I know they both use H's, but now the H is just like, what is that, a water droplet? Like, what is that? Yeah, I have no idea. Half the time I can't even figure it out. So
Kias is weird too.
Yes. That I like the way they have it now, and I like how they also do blackouts on most of their Kias. You ever seen the all black Kia?
No.
Lisa, you can't even read the Kia. It's all blacked out. Oh, from the rims, yes, from the rims on up, it's just blacked out. It is such a sexy vehicle. Yeah, so I would think it's just a brand, not a change, but an update. That's how I see it. Miss me with the Bernstein Bears. I'm over that. I just, it is what it is. People still, people still whipping out Bernstein Bears books. I'm sure if I were to find mine, I'm sure it's Bernstein. I just think it's a update of spelling yet again. Because I don't think anyone is still alive in the family of the authors nor the artist. I don't think any of them are still alive, so I feel that's another licensing thing. The one that gets me is Curious George. Yeah. I was having conversation, and Uncle Leroy, when I was a kid, he had a door-sized Curious George, like huge. Oh, okay. And I don't know if he won it at a carnival or what. I would have to ask him how he even got that. But that particular George was so big, his tail was adhered to his back. But I recall being at a carnival once, and I was still young. I was still very young. And that George that was hung, that you could win, he didn't have a tail.
Yeah.
So that one's a toss-up as well. That one's like, because that was when I was still very young, so I don't know if it was something to do with him being politically correct or what, why they didn't want to give him a tail anymore, because I mean, when you think about it, the guy had adopted George as his own son in the storybook, so I mean, them getting rid of a tail could have been a thing to make him a little bit more human, so it didn't seem odd that this man adopted a monkey. Just a thought.
That's interesting.
Just a thought, so.
I like your theories.
Yeah, just miss me with the Where's Waldo one, because some people are saying he had a cane, and some people said he had an umbrella. If you know Where's Waldo very well, you would know that depending on what picture it was he was in, he would have an umbrella or a cane or nothing at all. So people seem to be confusing that. I don't know why. And
okay.
Yeah, there's no confusion. It's kind of like the Willy Wonka thing you and I had the conversation about. The Willy Wonka thing was neither here nor there. It was just
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it was a moon pie.
Moon pie.
Yeah, it was a moon pie. It wasn't a chocolate bar, and that's what made his family so. Let me keep my comments to myself. So yes, other things I also feel like people just like Photoshop and then just put it online. That's how I feel sometimes, because the most recent one for me to have seen was the Target logo, and people are like, it was clear in the center, so it was red, clear, sorry, it would be white, so red, white, red. Now the other symbol that people have seen are red, white, like a whole ass dartboard. And then this crap they brought up, red, white, red. It isn't like a bow and arrow type of archery symbol. The last one they could throw away. The middle one, I don't know, that sounds like some Swedish type of Target y'all be going into. I don't know. The original Target sign was what it was, and I only remember because they had, what was it, Spot the dog? That was for Target.
Yeah.
And remember he was a Target symbol for Target. Yeah. So for those of you who don't remember, it's okay. He clearly was the mascot for this store.
Who was Spud McKenzie?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Was it sports? Why can't I remember this, for the love of Jesus? I feel like it was sports. I feel like...
Oh, he was a Bud Light dog.
Bud Light. Oh my God. Okay, yes. Oh, wait till people find out they had a dog. So, boy, my beer comes with a dog. Yes, it does. Okay, so Captain Crunch versus Captain Crunch. I've seen the change. I've seen the whole thing.
Okay.
I think it has to do with rebranding, because according to...
Makes sense.
Right, because it is no longer, for all of you out there who want to disagree, it is no longer the same recipe that it was 40, 50 years ago. Not the same recipe. I did try the newer Captain Crunch. That is just nothing but sugar. They're talking about, we made it healthier, Lisa. I was like, can I get some cereal with my sugar? It's disgusting.
And it gets like stuck to the roof of your mouth.
Yes.
Like filmy.
Right. So, no, Captain Crunch is always going to be poopy. To me, at least. Like, so I think it was just when they changed the recipe, they could no longer, or were no longer allowed to use the original Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
So, so miss me with that. They just recently disproved the Sinbad Shazam movie theory. They just recently disproved that.
Oh.
There was no this, that, and the other. It was, in fact, a movie, and for whatever reason, I guess because it flopped, they felt the need to trash it. I had always said I thought it was a TV movie, in all honesty. I didn't think it was a movie like in theaters, but go figure.
Was in the theaters?
I don't remember it being in the theaters. I just remember us,
I don't either, honestly.
me, Toonie, Dane, Darren, sitting in our in Avenel. They came over for a summer weekend, and we were watching it on our TV. So I don't know. I don't know. We watched it, and everybody's. A lot of people go, yeah, I remember watching it. Okay, so how did it go? And they're like, but I remember the day. I could tell you what it looked like. We all had our little fruit boxes, our Ecto Cooler ones. We had our little.
Ecto Cooler.
Yep.
That was the best.
Yep, we had our sandwiches, and we sat down and watched it. And the whole thing is, we were never big on movies like that. We were like horror buff kids, so we would put stuff like that on and like, oh, okay. So we would talk through it. All I know is these kids went into their grandma's attic, fooled around, came across a lamp, rubbed it, the genie came out, and then they had to, whatever the premise was after that. But yeah, the movie was going, and then we ended up watching Dunkston Checks In. The one with the little boy and the monkey in the hotel? Something of the sort. I don't know. I can't even put that together. Okay, here's a big one that I'm like, oh, wait. Because I know a few people in the art world. Chartreuse is a shade of pink, right? When originally chartreuse was a shade of green. But I can tell you from personal experience that I once typed in heather as a color, and it gave me heather gray, heather pink, and heather green, and they're all soft shades, like pastel shades of those colors.
Yeah. Okay.
So for me, I feel like chartreuse might be one of those. Oh, okay. Are you looking for chartreuse green? Or are you looking for chartreuse pink? See what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, so that's how I feel about it. That's like for you guys, my two favoriteest top colors. First of all, my colors are green and blue. Love those colors. But do yourself a favor and look up phthalo green and phthalo blue. PHTHALO. Phthalo. It is such HTHALO. Yeah. Those colors are so damn hypnotic, it's not even funny.
Ooh, looks like spirulina. Spirulina?
Is that what the... Okay, yeah.
And the other one was blue, right?
Mm-hmm. They recently changed... Why, yes, it does look green like that. They recently changed the phthalo blue. I don't know if they put the name back or what, but yeah. So, I'm not going to get into movie lines. Like movie and TV and stuff like that. I'm not getting into any of those because I know a lot of people like life is like a box of chocolates. Not getting into.
There's so many with those.
Yeah. And I feel like you ever now people are doing their videos and they do the captions on the videos, but the caption is not what's coming out of their mouths.
Mm-hmm.
I feel almost as if that is kind of what we're all misinterpreting. Because some people, like a lot of people, like life is like a box of chocolates, but then the other people they like interviewed were like life was like a box of chocolate, which doesn't really make sense, but it is what it is.
That does not.
Right. So a lot of movie thingies and how they remember it. I know sometimes, like I said, licensing takes over. They do remakes, they re-release movies, and they change somewhere along the line there, but it had to because when they re-released, what the hell movie was that? Anyway, it doesn't matter. They had put it back in the theater, and there were some changes to the movie. Certain lines were not remembered the way they were. That's Star Wars. Luke, I am your father. I forget what he said supposedly instead. And I'm like, yeah, but y'all seem to forget that was re-released to the theater. And so they're like, no, because I went back and watched an original copy. Okay, that's all well and good. What did he say in that? And they're like, he said, Luke, I am your father. Okay, that's fine. But when you go watch what was just recently re-released to the theater, that makes you wonder, like, okay, maybe copyright purposes, they couldn't do it that way. So there's a lot of things in movies I tend to like, nah, whatever. it probably was what it was then, and now they, you know, somebody was explaining to me how licensing in movies and stuff works, and they said a lot of times they do have to change things around and refresh it because the rights then, when that movie was first bought into and sold to the market, they had to make changes to fit that time's goings on.
And that makes sense. That's all well and good, but then to like mess with people and be like, no, that never happened.
Right.
Said like that.
Yeah. Right. So that drives me crazy. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. Go ahead.
Dr. Pepper.
Bad call.
Okay. Okay. I'll call him back in a minute. Dr. Pepper. so, I mean, shit. People need to go crazy about how Dr. Pepper has changed. So, but I'm not even gonna get into that. It's so funky now. I don't like the new recipe.
It really is.
Yeah. Thank you.
So disappointing.
Yeah. So I don't like it. Last on this list before we cut you guys loose is Coca-Cola with the dash in it versus regular, just no dash Coca-Cola. I know that Mexican Coca-Cola, that it's at times they had just regular Coca-Cola, like no dashes, no nothing. It was just Coca-Cola. So I think what's happening is sometimes manufacturers who are factoring these things, I think sometimes they're allowed to, okay, so let's say I printed how many tags in a day to go on the Mexican Coke. I'm like, oh my god, I printed too many. I'm the only one on shift. Nobody pays attention. I just get the regular ones and bottle them up the same way. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, I've seen people do it all the time for like candy, boxed goods and stuff, and it's imperative that they don't do that because of the ingredients. Mexican Coca-Cola is way different from American Coke. It's not made with
like all natural, right?
Yeah.
They don't have any of the
sugar cane is right.
garbage that we have here.
Exactly. So so that's something to think about. So, and sometimes you will taste a difference in certain sodas, and you go, this doesn't taste like how I thought it would taste. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. So there you go. But anyway, guys, with that being said, this is a lot of fun. I just wanted to really make people stop and think about certain things. It's not always some kind of conspiracy against everybody.
Yeah,
no.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes there is a legit reason.
When you broke it down, that was like really fascinating. Like, really like think about these things. Do some critical thinking when it comes to it.
Yeah, and I mean, you found Oscar Mayer, so
yeah,
there it is. Yeah. So thank you, Lisa. Yeah.
Well, no, thank you for your theory, and then like you know, it was like backed up, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I just like to break things down. So sometimes it takes a little bit of looking, but you'll get there. So yeah. Until next time, I'm sure we'll have more that I got to sit and go through.
But, I can't wait. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right. So love you guys. Thank you for sitting and jamming with us and enjoying a good time. And we'll see you around.
See you soon.
All right. Bye.